Bill Vale, a pragmatic and scientifically minded man, faced a midlife crisis after his separation in 2002. He moved back to Arlington, Texas to be closer to family and started working at his brother's water purification company for a fresh start. Just a few months into his new life, he took on a Saturday house call to demonstrate the water purification system. The customer insisted he arrive precisely at 5 p.m. Despite the odd request, Bill followed instructions and approached the house at 4:59 p.m. Bill arrived at the house call and heard unsettling screams inside. Despite feeling threatened, he entered but left hastily when the woman pointed at him. Back home, he enjoyed a quiet Saturday until he noticed something dart across his room. Later, he woke to something running over his foot, finding nothing amiss. Unable to explain the odd events, he brushed them off as imagination and returned to sleep. Bill wakes up to his bed violently shaking, which stops as soon as he's fully awake. He checks for signs of an earthquake but finds nothing online. Unable to explain the shaking, he considers other rational explanations but finds none. As a logical person, he struggles to make sense of the strange occurrence. Bill researches nearby military bases and oil rigs for a rational explanation for the bed-shaking incident. He also considers his earlier encounter with something touching his feet. While troubleshooting his internet issues, he notices strange staticky sounds coming through the receiver, adding to his sense of unease. Bill experiences a strange incident while troubleshooting his internet, hearing a threatening voice speaking nonsensical language on the phone. Despite hanging up, he receives a call back from the customer service rep and learns that the rep also heard the strange voice. The rep is puzzled as their phone line is secure, leaving Bill unsettled by the unexplained occurrence. Bill, unsettled by the bizarre events, decides to take a break from researching and attempts to get some sleep. However, he can't shake off the feeling of unease caused by the 4 strange occurrences within a short period. Despite his efforts to calm down, he begins to worry that something sinister might be happening. Terrified by the sound underneath his bed, Bill tries to convince himself that it's just his imagination. However, when he sees a hand reaching out from under the bed, he panics and jumps out of bed, turning on all the lights in his house. Unable to comprehend what's happening, he stays awake for the rest of the night, too afraid to go back to bed. Feeling anxious about the strange occurrences from the previous night, Bill tries to have a normal day at work without mentioning what happened. However, as he returns home, he feels uneasy about facing another night of potentially strange events. Sitting in his chair, with all the lights on, he watches TV and eats his microwave dinner. Suddenly, a bottle flies towards him, narrowly missing his head and shattering against the wall. In the aftermath, all the lights in the house go out, plunging him into darkness. Bill, in a panic after experiencing strange occurrences, calls his brother Bob for help. Bob arrives, and Bill, without explaining much, asks him to check the closet where the slamming sound occurred. Bob, bewildered but supportive, agrees. Bill shuts the closet door, leaving Bob inside to investigate the situation and report back. Bill asks Bob to enter a dark closet while he waits outside. Bob feels something hitting his leg, and then his face in the darkness. Despite feeling unsettled, Bob chooses not to share this experience with Bill to avoid adding to his brother's anxiety. He assures Bill that nothing unusual occurred inside the closet before leaving. Disappointed and embarrassed, Bill reflects on his inability to effectively convey the strange occurrences to his brother. Hesitant but feeling the need to confide in someone, he reaches out to his friend Michael, a sound engineer. During their conversation about the eerie events in Bill's new house, they are interrupted by the same menacing voice from Bill's phone call with the internet provider, leaving both of them alarmed and unsettled. As the disturbing voice interrupts their conversation, Michael instinctively starts recording it, using his sound setup. Bill, recognizing the danger, urgently warns Michael to hang up and not listen to the voice. Despite Bill's efforts, Michael continues recording until the voice suddenly stops after about a minute and a half. When Michael plays back the recording, they hear only their voices, Bill's warnings, and Michael's inquiries, but none of the demonic voices that they both heard during the call. This discrepancy adds to the eerie nature of the situation. leaving them puzzled and unsettled. Bill invites Bob and Cindy over for dinner due to his unease about his house. He rushes to the room where he sees something odd before. Bob and Cindy ask about what he saw. Unable to explain fully, Bill mentions an animal or something similar. He asks Bob to sit in his chair for a better view, hoping to spot anything unusual while watching TV. Bob notices something in the room, causing them to stand. He describes a small, two-legged creature, alarming Bill and reminding him of the closet incident. Cindy confirms seeing a similar sight. With increased worry, they illuminate the house and search for signs of the creature. After hours of searching, they can't find any trace of the strange creature. Bob and Cindy suggest that Bill stays with them for the night, given the unsettling events in his house. Though frightened, Bill finds solace in having his family confirm their shared experiences, validating his sanity. Despite their offer, Bill decides to stay, unwilling to abandon his home. Now alone, he delves into researching paranormal explanations for the bizarre occurrences, determined to uncover the truth. Bill seeks help from a reliable paranormal investigative team led by Brian Hall. They thoroughly examine his house but find no mundane explanations for the strange occurrences. The paranormal investigative team sets up cameras and laser beams in Bill's bedroom to monitor any activity. Initially, there is no sign of anything unusual. However, Brian Hall suggests that one of the team members go into the room and try to provoke any potential entity present. The team member enters the room, calls out to any presence, and jumps onto the bed. Suddenly, on camera, a laser beam falls, causing the team member to flee the room in fear. The team rushes to review the footage to analyze the incident further. Alone in his room, Bill tries to create a positive atmosphere with lights on and upbeat music playing. However, despite his efforts, he knows he won't be able to sleep after the paranormal team leaves. They warn him to leave the house, but Bill, being prideful, decides to stay. As he sits in his room, he braces himself for whatever may happen next, aware that something sinister might occur in the night. Bill hears a loud crash like a Mack truck hitting his house and rushes outside, finding no damage. Returning inside, he hears another crash from the dining room, where he had seen the mysterious creature before. Despite the alarming events, Bill stands firm, refusing to be driven out of his home by fear. Bill challenges the presence in his house, demanding it reveal itself. Another crash, this time in his bedroom, follows. Despite searching, he finds nothing, but the noise persists, filling the room. Abruptly, it stops, leaving Bill on edge, waiting for the next move. Bill is haunted by terrifying occurrences in his house, with manifestations escalating to the point of scratches on his chest and health issues. Despite undergoing exorcisms and extensive research, the paranormal activity persists. Bill suspects a sinister transfer of entities from a previous encounter. However, he refuses to sell his house out of responsibility, fearing the consequences for others.